Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another virtually put together episode of the Kanc Connection. I'm Olivia Drapo, co-hosting today with Jillian Clark.
I'm so glad to see you tuning in again this week. Our first story today is Olivia Drapo with yaysports.
Welcome back to yaysports. It is uncertain whether we will be in school in person next week and we'll be playing sports, but as of right now, we have a full schedule set for the week. On Monday, the middle school basketball teams will be playing against Bartlett, the boys home at 4 and the girls away at 4. On Wednesday, the teams will be playing Littleton at 4, the girls away and the boys at home. On Friday, the teams will be hosting Lisbon. The girls will play at 4 and the boys will play at 5. The varsity basketball teams will have their first couple games this upcoming week. On Wednesday, the teams will be traveling to Woodsville. The girls will be playing at 4 and the boys will play at 5:30. On Friday, the teams will be playing Groveton. The girls play at 5 at home and the boys play at 6:30 at Groveton. Be sure to check out the live-streamed home games on our channel. Next Thursday, the middle school ski team has their first race at Cranmore. And on Friday, the high school ski team will be having their first race at Wildcat. Once again, I'd like to remind you that we are unsure if these events are happening as we are remote learning now, but they are currently still scheduled to be happening.
Thank you to Olivia for that much-needed sports update. Now is what went down in the world this week with Shanna Drapo.
Welcome back to What Went Down in the World This Week with Shanna Drapo. Today is our first episode of the new year, so I will be talking about some of the biggest events that have happened since January 1st. On Tuesday, January 5th and Wednesday, January 6th, Georgia held runoff elections for their 2 Senate positions. A runoff election is a second election, which happens if the winner of the first election did not receive the minimum percentage of votes, 50%, required in that state. Democrats Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won the runoffs for the 2 Senate positions. Ossoff has become the state's first Jewish senator and the youngest member of the Senate. Warnock has become the first black senator in Georgia. Now, you might think that elections happening in Georgia are irrelevant to your life, but in this case, the runoff elections in Georgia are actually very important. The outcome of the Georgia runoff elections determined which party controls the U.S. Senate. Previously, the Republican Party had control over the Senate. Now that 2 Democrats have won in Georgia, the Senate is split 50-50, with the Democrats essentially having control due to the tie-breaking vote going to Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, who is a Democrat. As you all have definitely heard, last night a group of supporters of Donald Trump managed to breach the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., after encouragement from Donald Trump that the election was a fraud and they needed to fight for it back. The Senate was confirming Joe Biden as the next president of the United States at the time in the Capitol building, which means the lives of senators were put in danger, as well as Vice President Mike Pence. The rioters broke down windows and managed to enter the building with little to no resistance from police. The rioters trashed offices, stole property, and harassed police officers. It was a horrendous scene, and something that many people can never imagine happening in our country. President-elect Joe Biden spoke on live television, urging the rioters to back down and urging Donald Trump to accept defeat. Donald Trump eventually told his supporters to back down, but refused to accept defeat and continued to claim that the election was fraudulent. The riots lasted late into the morning, and the Electoral College was not able to finish their job until 4 a.m. Joe Biden has now been officially confirmed as the next president of our country. Donald Trump released a video yesterday, January 7th, expressing great disappointment in his supporters for the acts of treason they committed. He expressed great outrage in what had happened in the Capitol building and promised that there would be a peaceful transfer of power when the time for Joe Biden's inauguration comes. And he also finally accepted that he fairly lost this election. And on an unrelated note, some COVID news. The COVID-19 vaccine has begun to be distributed throughout New Hampshire, and we are projected to all be vaccinated by the end of May. The process is starting with healthcare workers, first responders, and long-term care residents, before moving on to older citizens and those at higher medical risk. These first few phases are estimated to last through March, before starting on those at lower medical risk. And now I have some good news for you. The company Adidas has announced that they are developing a new, purely biological leather alternative to be used in a line of footwear. Eventually, the company wants to have 60% of their products made in 2021 to be composed of sustainable materials. The material is made using mycelium, which is a part of a fungus. Maybe someday we'll all be wearing mushroom shoes. And that's what went down in the world this week. Thanks for watching and stay safe.
Thank you for sharing that news, Shanna. Next up, we have a brand new wacky word from Jillian.
Hello, and welcome back to Wacky Words. Today's word is quarantine, because as you might have guessed, I am stuck in quarantine. For anyone that does not know, a quarantine is a period of isolation in which people that have traveled from somewhere else or have been potentially exposed to an infectious disease are placed. The term quarantine actually has a really interesting nautical history. The word actually comes from the term quadraginta, which means 40 in Latin. This period of waiting 40 days became popularized in the Middle Ages due to the Black Plague. 40 was approximately the amount of days that European ships would have to wait at ports until their entrance was granted. Ships that were suspected to be plague-ridden were required to wait out their quarantine period, and only then were permitted to dock. This idea of a 40-day quarantine period was continued up through history. For example, in the 1600s, widowed women were required to stay home 40 days after the death of their husband. So with the word quarantine being associated with a 40-day isolation period, 10 days doesn't seem that bad. This has been Wacky Words. Until next time, I'm Jillian Clark. Stay safe. Man, what a word. We are now going on a break.
Are you breaking up with me?
No, Olivia, we were never dating.
Oh good, my bad.
We will now be taking a break from our program, but don't go away. We have so much coming up after the break.
Dad,
Just 1 minute, okay?
hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back, everyone. We now have an exclusive interview with our beloved French teacher, Madame Barr, put together by Emma McNamara.
What drew you to Lin-Wood as a school specifically?
Sure. So I did my teaching internship here with David Labrie in French in the middle high school because, first of all, because it was close to PSU, because that's where I was doing my studies. And I grew up in this area, so it was convenient. And I decided to apply for the open position when he retired because I really liked it when I was doing my internship here.
Other than your internship, were there any other work or educational experiences that prepared you to work here?
Yes, I have a bachelor's in French education from Wheaton College, and following that, I taught abroad in France. I taught English in Charolles, a small town in Bourgogne, France, for a year, and then I worked with international students for a couple years, and then I was teaching at the college level at PSU. So following that, I taught for a year in Massachusetts as well.
Out of curiosity, what are some of the responsibilities your job entails?
Okay, so I teach French to 7th graders, Spanish to 8th graders, and I teach currently French levels 1 through 3 at the high school. And this is my first year teaching English to speakers of other languages as well in grades K through 12. And we have other duties as teachers as well. And so this year, teaching during COVID, I am in charge of scanning people's temperatures as they enter the school, which is a new and interesting responsibility.
Okay, and what's your favorite part of working here?
What I like best about working at Lin-Wood specifically is the small environment that we have here. I really like that I can walk down the hall and know everyone that I that I see here, and not feel like you're overwhelmed by crowds of people that you don't know. I like being able to interact with people that I know daily.
Okay, thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you to Madame Barr for being a part of that interview, and thank you, Emma, for putting it together. We'd like to say congratulations to all of our winners from Poetry Out Loud: Sydney Pickering, Angel Kittleson, Ryan Cronin, Jillian Clark, Britta Robinson, Brie Calayo, Silas Whedon, Tucker Bailey, Emma LeBlanc, Shanna Drapo, Jordan Saborn, Mathis Crompton, and Cohen Supple. They will all be moving on to the next round. The next round will be on January 26th.
Here at the Kanc Connection, we wanted to take a moment and thank all of the community members, staff, and students who have ever participated in an interview for Kanc Connection. We know being on camera can be uncomfortable at times, and we wanted to say just how grateful we are for all of you.
That's our show. Thank you for watching. I'm Olivia Drapo.
And I'm Jillian. Stay safe and have a great weekend.